Hey everyone, this is the LEGO Star Wars 20th Anniversary Edition Battle of Endor set, a gift with purchase that LEGO gave away with qualifying purchases directly from them from shop.lego.com and physical LEGO stores around the time of the Triple Force Friday reveals and merchandising event for the second half of 2019. This little set is kind of funny, but also kind of cool. They've got two tiny ATSTs here, which are built with a nice level of detail. I've actually posed mine a little bit more like they show on the box, which is more like they actually appear in the movie, with one that participates in the capture of the rebels momentarily, and there's always one that's just walking by in the background, going from right to left, and then eventually walking away. So I just put that one back there. But these are really nice, and you can actually pose them up a little bit. You can rotate the heads, and you can move the legs a little bit to make it look like they're actually, in motion a bit. You can also rotate the cannon on the side, which is actually supposed to represent a grenade launcher. That is a print on the front, the same print that was used on the other similar set to this, which I will compare this one to. You get some shrubbery, you get some small trees. There's one big tree back in the corner that we'll see in just a minute. Those are supposed to represent stormtroopers there. I'm sure the designer tried many different possibilities for how to represent little troopers, and I think that the decision made in the end was pretty good. That looks pretty appropriate for the size and all. And then this is really cool over here, because that's Han Solo and Chewie. Chewie on the right with all brown. Han Solo with just the black and the brown, just getting caught, just surrendering themselves outside of the little bunker. And the bunker actually has some texture behind there. I'm just going to remove this roof bit so you can see there's a little bit of texture for the door section of it, so it's not just completely flat or plain inside of there. And then there's that one big tree back in the back, just to have a little extra contrast, a little extra visual interest for this whole set. And all of the terrain is built studs on the side. So we are looking at the underside over here, and they just have the anti-stud side completely exposed. But when you go to the other end, and that end, rather than leaving studs, just has some tiles to keep it smooth. It's too bad they don't have an option for making it consistent from end to end. Here's what the whole thing looks like again, and I'm just going to swing it around to the opposite side so that you can see the level of detail and the level of finish is consistent all the way around. This is not a particularly camera-friendly side just because of the placement of the trees, which now block more of the detail. But, if you look at it from this side, it's not like it looks unfinished over here. The only thing that does look unfinished is, like I said, just that anti-stud end of the terrain. I also find it a little bit awkward that they use so much of the dark gray. I think it's good to have some difference of color and texture, like these ones here especially, that are blended in and don't have any surround of the gray, that are surrounded only by the dark green. Those look pretty decent to me. But the ones that are out at the edges don't look quite so good, because you can see basically it's like a suggestion of rock going down into the terrain, which I can kind of get, but I just think it doesn't look the best. If they had just one layer of pure dark green around the edge at the least, I think that would have made things a little bit better. But otherwise, I can't complain about this. First of all, it's a gift with purchase. Nowadays, it's getting more to the point where you do pay a bit extra to get these, because you do have to purchase directly from LEGO. And now that LEGO has increased their retail prices in order to stop competing so terribly, or actually so effectively, against normal retailers, their retail partners, it is cheaper. It's becoming increasingly cheaper to get things from like Walmart, Target, or Amazon, or wherever, anywhere other than from LEGO. So ultimately now the old argument of you actually pay for these is becoming much more valid than it has ever been before. So technically you actually do pay for this, but in some regions where discounts aren't available at non-LEGO retailers, this is more of just a plain pure gift. Here's what it looks like with the other promotional set like it, the previous one, which is representing obviously the assault on Hoth from Empire Strikes Back. And you can see that the overall design strategy is the same, the sizes are the same, and pretty much everything is completely compatible between the two. I think the proportions are close enough also when you look at the difference between the ATSTs and the AT-AT there. The ATSTs are actually a little bit more like the Empire Strikes Back versions in their overall height, but that's mostly because they have to double up with the plate and the jumper there to get a little extra, which gives them a little extra height in order to have the center mount for the head. If they didn't have to do that, then they'd be definitely more Return of the Jedi scaled. But overall, these two scenes go together really well, which begs the question, where's the other one? Where's the first one? From A New Hope, we need something to go over here to the left. I'm sure that has to be on its way, but I personally haven't seen it just yet. Hopefully it will be a Death Star trench run one, because that's something that's pretty exciting and would definitely be welcomed by many fans. I hope that they don't go for Tatooine, which is another possibility. They could do Tatooine with a sandcrawler. The Lars Homestead early movie scene, but maybe they could do Mos Eisley. I don't know. I hope they do the trench run, because that would fit with the theme perfectly, I think. And just to close things out, here are the spare or leftover pieces from the Return of the Jedi set. It's a nice little scene. It's a nice scale. I feel like it provides a little bit of inspiration. Probably some folks will try to expand upon this theme, add more things to it, maybe add in an Endor AT-AT, make a larger base, a larger space, a larger bit of terrain that's represented by it. There's just a lot of things that you could do with this, or you could just leave it alone and enjoy it as is, which I certainly do. No price for this one, no price to part ratio to consider, but yeah, pretty nice little thing. I'm looking forward to the next one, and I hope that they do it right. I hope they do it as well as they did these first two. If you want to see the builds, you can check out the real-time build or the speed build on my respective channels. I will link to both of those right now, and talk to you again soon. Thanks for watching.